Bless up, bless up, bless up. Extra Light is back. I'm back in the building. Yes, you have me again live. You have me live today. One, because I have a little time. Also, because YouTube keeps playing with me. I love you, YouTube. Thank you. Thank you for motivating me to clarify more on the subject of nationality. This is the next video that I wanted to actually make to get a better understanding and give clarification to my people. Alright, so I'm gonna need y'all to bear with me. I'm gonna keep this kind of short and sweet, most likely 45 minutes or so. The content is gonna basically focus on what it is and what it is to have not been taught the importance of nationality. Also, I'm gonna go over a few brief excerpts from PowerNomics, the National Plan to Empower Black America by Clark Anderson. I'm just going to go into chapter 1, a few things that I highlighted just to back up some of the information that I was trying to share with you guys, praying that, the creators that be of this network, social network, allow all of my commentary to go through, taking notice that I am not monetized and I shouldn't be restricted. I'm not saying anything that is not the truth. And let's take it from there. So let's go back to these definitions that I was trying to share with you on my last live. No reason why you shouldn't be able to hear me. I'm right straight direct in the mic. So I'm going to say that was the issue. Okay, but right now, let's get into it. I'm going to turn down the music just a little bit. So I can't say it's the music. So I like the music. I like it just a little bit. I hope y'all can still hear it because they get my little feng shui going. Okay. All right. So, what is nationality? Nationality, the state of a person in relation to the nation in which he or she was born. Nationality, the equality or character which arises from the fact of a person belonging to a nation or state. Nationality determines the political status of an individual, especially when reference to alliance, while domicile determines his civil status. Nationality arises either by birth or by naturalization. Black Laws Dictionary, 6th edition, page 1025. Alright? Example. Someone born in Russia can be considered a Russian national, just as someone born in Japan can be considered a Japanese national. And as I stated to you guys, the question of the matter, can you be considered a black national? Because that's a such thing. Looking into the dictionary, as I stated in one of my videos, black is void. Please go look it up. You have no stance in law if you consider yourself to be black. Now muffle that. Alright, moving on. Why is it important for Black/African Americans to know what their nationality is? Black/African Americans in America have been disenfranchised and discriminated against for many years. They have been called everything from niggers, colored, black, African American, and more. All of which none of these names have anything to do with their real nationality. These titles do not show he or she belonging to a nation or a state, which would in turn determine his political status as an individual. So before I move on, I just want to go a little bit deeper so y'all can get a deeper concept of how this applies to every one of us. When we walk into the court and we have no nationality. I'm going to give you an example with the officer that was charged with an international crime because he killed that white lady, that one officer. Okay, now based on nationality, and he was a national, he was tried in a tribunal court in which he had people from his nation help represent him, and they are still representing him to make sure that he has the fairest case that he can have based on international laws and treaties. Us as black individuals with no land, no nation connected to that term, you have no one speaking on your behalf. You have no constitution. Is nothing connected to that nation. Every other nation here has a land, with be it Puerto Rico, well, they part of America, be it any other nation, Chinese, Japanese, or Haitian, we got our own constitution, but they ain't abiding by it, right? And it goes on and on and on. Okay? So what that goes to say, when you go into these courts, you're being looked at as black, voided, no representation behind you. That's why they give football numbers to brown melanated people. This is why when you are murdered, is nothing that can be done in the courts because they do not look at you as full citizen. According to Dred Scott, which is a Supreme Court case, as I mentioned, that is above any state law case. So you can take a case to the state, and then you can go, if it don't work in your favor, you take it to Supreme Court, and that is the law of this whole, like it basically it outweighs state law. Okay, at that time when you take it up there. But while you're in the state custody and you're dealing on the state level, you will have to deal with the state's constitution. So I'll explain to you in this video the difference between state constitution as well and federal constitution, because I didn't go over that in my last video. Bob was going a little bit long, but this is perfect to get into the technical aspect of this talk. Okay, so as I explained to you what nationality is, and now we move on why it's important. As I told you, disenfranchisement has been mentioned plenty of times by Dr. Claude Anderson. Is Black and African American a nationality? The term Black and African American are not nationalities. These terms will have to tie the individual back to a land / the nation to which they were born. There's no land called Africa America land, and that's what I was saying in my last live. So where do you tie yourself to? What treaties do you have to represent yourself in court? And this is why we're being severely taken advantage of in the sector of law and other aspects across the board, because law actually governs every other aspect of economy, sociality of this place we call the United States, and the capitalistic views and behaviors that's being disseminated across the map is governed by these laws. Okay, and that's why you got to understand it, where it's coming from, what is what. When you stand in a certain area, what would they try to apply to you based on who you are? But you never got to experience that because we've been at our first level of thinking on the Maslow hierarchy of need, and that's survival. We've been trying to survive, so you couldn't think about none of all this other important shit. You ain't care about no paperwork, no name, no none. You need to eat, feed your kids, and live life. Yeah, that's understandable, but it's going to take more to uplift this planet and to get us right back into a better situation as brown melanated people. Okay, so now I'm gonna be able to go back and read about what effects did the 13th Amendment have on us. Okay, so I hope y'all hear me loud and clear. The creators, the forces that be, don't muffle me out, because this whole video is going to be dedicated to everything that you muffled out in my last live. I'm grateful for the opportunity. All right. So what effects did the 13th Amendment to the Constitution have on slaves in America? The 13th Amendment to the Constitution supposedly freed the slaves. Neither slave nor involuntary servitude, except as a punishment for crimes wherefore the party shall have been duly convicted, shall exist within the United States or any place subjected to their jurisdiction. Okay, so this is one why they have their hands on everywhere and trying to get jurisdiction over everything. Two, this shows you what happens when you put yourself in, or they put you, or certain situations, unfortunate, or be it you intensively did it, get yourself in the system as brown melanated people. This is exactly what status that you're at in the eyes of the court. You're a number, and that's below the 3/4. Okay, and they got a lot of motherfuckers like us all locked up in there. Hello. So that is clarification and connection, so we can make the connections to these big items that I call a constitution and regular everyday living, because ain't nobody really trying to do that for y'all. But let's do this. Okay, this again is wordcraft. It's part of wordcraft. In the last live, I was telling you about wordcraft and the difference between legalese and like medical lease. There's no such thing called that. But every different industry use specific words and have their own set of definitions to define them. And that's the same thing it is when you go into the law sector. So this is why we're severely disenfranchised and don't know what the hell going on, because we can't even read the plain English due to the faulty educational system. And that's going to be the next slew of videos that I put out about the misconception of education. And like I told you, homeschool. And then we have a lot of ancestors that have made topics about mental reconstruction of our psyche, and that's what we need to do to even make any form of a check or reparations, do anything. Mentally, you have to be prepared to receive and have an idea of what you're going to do, how you're going to create the inner vibration to make it abundant. Okay? All right. So let's go back into this 13th Amendment. Now that we have mentioned both, okay, so like I said, this again is part of the wordcraft of the farmers of the Constitution. You know, you got to understand, these was farmers. These was a group of people that put this together, and it just took wind, and everybody followed along with it. Okay, sounds crazy, but it's the truth. You better go do your research. Of the farmers of the Constitutional Amendment that is written in code, but yet in plain sight. There is a clear form. The meaning of the word involuntary servitude, that is servitude or slavery that is against one's will. So it's by specifically mentioning that involuntary servitude shall not exist in the United States, leaves the door wide open for voluntary servitude and slavery. Keep this in mind as we move further along, okay? And this is when I talk about adhesion contract. We are voluntarily giving ourselves and our energy to the United States, which is sowing into the world bad seeds and destroying people that have melanin just like me, you, and everybody that's in this struggle to a bloody pope, basically, okay? So we're going to go into adhesion contracts a little bit. Okay, so keep this in mind for further reference. This reality of voluntary servitude will be proven as a matter of fact here in the United States. We voluntary as United States 14th Amendment citizens have pleaded to not only the national debt, but everything that the United States stands for. So as I explained in my last live, when you pay your taxes, the taxes that you're forced to pay because you're a 14th Amendment citizen, and you are granted certain rights, and that's one of the rights you're granted, to pay the taxes, that goes to the IRS. And the IRS, to what I have discovered, is using these funds for things that are not copacetic for the upliftment of brown melanated people. And it's not specifically the IRS, it's the characters that's in position that are shunning out money different places because they, we got crooks in the house. And that's real. So I need you to understand that the energy that you sow back into this system actually is beginning this system. So you get your check and you're going to put it back into your destruction, because guess what? As I mentioned in my other live, you own nothing. We own nothing. And even when you own a house, you don't own it because you're paying taxes to the day you die. And the patent is actually held in the tax commissioner's office, who owns the original deed to your house, in which we have to learn to get land patents and to control the land that we live on. But we ain't going that deep yet. People still talking about reparations. But I ain't going to go down that rabbit hole. Okay? So I explained to you about, perspective of the 13th Amendment. I didn't give you the specific definition of the 13th Amendment in total because you need to read the document for yourself. Reading is good. Reading is great for development. Reading, seeing, hearing will help you understand and digest this information. We all have different learning patterns. No matter where you're at, don't feel bad, but you're going to have to take the time to make some shit happen, because no one can force feed you knowledge. When you have to stand on your square and represent what you know and delegate what you want to be done properly. You have to articulate yourself to those powers that be and stand in a position to be able to get it executed. Hello. All right. So let me just throw a little bit in there about the 14th Amendment. What type of status does the 14th Amendment to the Constitution place on the person that is referred to? The 14th Amendment confers a status of a class of citizenship. This type of citizenship does not guarantee rights, but instead grants rights. So we're still being granted rights. Excuse me. Excuse me, y'all. We're still being granted rights, in which I think that as mindful individuals, human beings, we know right from wrong. And if you still think to be covered and told what to do, then you're not ready to be free. Period. You need to know right from wrong. You need to know what is not good for your body, what's not good for your mind, what's not good for your family situation, and have discernment to change these incremental changes that's going to work on a micro level. We start on a macro level and it goes on we start on a micro level and it goes on a macro level. Please excuse me. All right. So it has to start with you. So I gave you the definitions that I was reading in my last live that they actually muffle. Later on, I'm going to go more into nationality and indigenous people and make you understand what a person like Dane Calloway is talking about versus what the people that claim to be ADOS is talking about. At the end of the day, I kind of explained it in my last live. We were all spread out from different areas and into different places, which makes us the total of descendants of slaves. But there were people here on this continent prior with brown melanated skin, because we were all over the planet, that are due their justice as well. And that when you have your Dane Calloway talking about, I'm Indian, I'm this, I'm that, I'm indigenous to this land. Hello. All right, so that's just a little clarification for you. Hold on, guys. Okay. Hold on, guys. Give me 1 second. I need y'all to digest that information. I'll be right back. I'm not going to make it too long, but I am going to move on to my second part that I wanted to talk to you about as I get into the book I was telling you about, PowerNomics, the national plan to empower Black America. And there's some key points in this book that I want to share with you guys that, just support some of the concepts that I was telling you guys about. So, Chapter 7 of this book, PowerNomics Vision, and offers 12 principles. Let me keep my face straight. Offers 12 principles blacks can use to win group-based political benefits. Okay, so it is 8 chapters in this book, and I'm just starting out, but I have found some things that I actually wanted to share with you guys that I found very interesting. All right, let's start. The word race first appeared with the emergence of slave practice in the 1600s. Records indicate the word race was selected because the various European slave trade nations were in competition to fit from the minerals and human wealth of Africa. The prize for winning the race was the power to develop Western civilization using the wealth extracted out of Africa. Black people were non-competitors in the race. They were the prize, so they can neither play or win. Okay, and I just want y'all to know that these excerpts that I'm reading now, until I tell you I'm not, is from Claude Anderson, The PowerNomics, Chapter 1. At that time, Charles Darwin developed the concept of biological race and its origin of the species, and it quickly became popular, often called survival of the fittest. All right, so y'all remember that. A racism, a race without a finish line. Okay, so that's chapter one, and I just got some excerpts that I want to share with y'all in chapter one when it comes to wealth, because y'all need to understand what money is. And at the bottom right hand corner, you're going to see I have some gold bars, some gold right there. We're going to watch that 4-minute video before the end of this so y'all can get a concept of what happened with the gold standard and why there is a limit on gold to be held by American citizens, as well as when they actually separated gold from money and captured the people to be the surety instead of the gold being the surety for the money. So as 14th Amendment citizens, your energy is the surety for that's backing up this money, as well as the oil that they're starting to extract from this land. Facts. Okay? So wealth, back to Claude Anderson. That was just an insert for me. But Claude Anderson, you know I gotta throw it in. Y'all getting to know me. And I'm grateful that y'all listening. Thank you for tuning in to my first live. Share, share, share. I see y'all tuned in. And that's what's up. Wealth refers to the net value of a person, group, or community, less their liabilities or debts at a given point in time. This is this is stored value. Income, in contrast, refers to the flow of dollars over a period of time. Okay, so understand that it's not going to be ratified by a check. To have wealth is to refer to a person's value that is accumulated over a period of time, and this is done by strategizing, and also being able to acquire land and resources. Okay, that's why it has to be a full plan. ADOS. Hello. There's all this extra arguing is showing up, slowing down the damn process of planning. Okay. The three major impending the black competitiveness. So it's three major impediments, to black competitiveness. One is maldistribution of wealth and resource power. Two, inappropriate behavior patterns. We act like fools. We always arguing. We always want to outshine people. We are severely colonized, and also that comes from our bloodline. Being the tribe coming from the descendant of Judah, we have this high vibration to want to be on top, to be number one. And once we get a little gold, we the shit, because in our DNA we feel like that, we know like that, but it just possessing a little bit that on the outside is stupid, and it does nothing. It has done nothing for our community. It has done nothing for us, for people to be showboating, perpetrating a fraud. All this gold around your neck, ain't shit going on. You don't own no properties. You don't own no land titles. How about that? You still paying taxes to the people who are oppressing us. Okay. The next point he made is inappropriate behavior pattern, as I told you, and lack of national plan for empower. So when he say national plan, you have to be part of have a nationality. I would assume so. National plan, nationality. Hey, I think two goes together. I'm just throwing that up there. Okay, so there's no national economic and political empowerment plan, as he mentioned. Inappropriate psychological social behavior pattern, as we display all the damn time, caught up on all this bullshit drama, arguing, and whatever, get it together. And maldistribution of wealth and resources. No matter what industry you are feeling some type of wealth disparities. Me working in the healthcare industry, moving from the north to the south, I actually took like a $13 pay cut. Once I explained this to my coworkers, they were looking at me like I had three heads. Why? Because I was from the north, I was black, and I ain't know nobody, and they thought they could pull some over on me. How about that? And I know I ain't the only one, so I had to find ways to increase my income and find ways to be there for my kids. That's when we'll talk about the homeschooling and how you have to structure your life around the development of your kids. Then finance falling apart, because God knows He wants you to take care of them kids. So once you focus on taking them kids, you focus on taking care of those kids. then resources will definitely be abundance. I'm just saying, because I live in prosperity. So that's what always helped me. All right. Share a little bit more from Claude Anderson. PowerNomics, Chapter 1. It is now hidden behind the cycles of a smokescreen, social and power elite. Praise Martin Luther King Jr.'s picked up the Black Civil Rights Movement, but destroyed the fundamental intent of the movement. They proclaimed that the racial inequality no longer exists and all groups were starting out even. And you know that wasn't the truth. You know that's why y'all asking for reparations. So we already all on the same page as that. Alright, so moving on. So racial monopolies, like any other monopoly, is defined by its origin and the power it has over the competitors. Okay? So I'm gonna read that part to you. On its way to becoming the essence of various white monopoly, race has passed through three monopolistic strategies. So these three monopolistic strategies, one is natural monopoly. The first stage is natural monopoly that protects things that are strategically vital to the government itself. Okay? Two is conclusive monopoly. The monopoly exists when members of a tight-knit group of public agencies or private corporations enter specific agreements to control the marketplace or wealth, power, and resources of society over other common competitors. This is why we have issues establishing businesses because one, our competitors, we're locked out of some markets, as well as we continue to support those markets that we're locked out of. So once we learn how to separate, I think I mentioned that, but I didn't get into detail about this. Just common sense. Just separate your money, separate your income, separate what you indulge in, and you will slowly but surely break down this system. Promise you, if there's people like me, half of these rappers won't even make money because I don't buy this shit. Half of these industries won't make money because I don't indulge it. And you have to pick what you indulge in so we can slowly but surely keep the money in the black household longer than 20 days, longer than 1 hour that actually stays in the household now. And then we can learn to where we're going to distribute it. At that time, while we're collecting income and saving money, and cleaning our body and not ingesting all of these toxins as the music, the food, the negative vibrations around of drama, we're able to learn some shit economically, socially, spiritually, and then take that money and create something of the most high. That's my plan. That's how I've been working. I'm just keeping it real. Pretty simple. I'm just separating my ass because I'm not giving to motherfuckers that don't support me. I stopped voting last year after this Trump thing. I'm not beat. I don't want to be part of this drama of politics. It takes up a lot of your time and energy watching the nonsense. You watch these congressional meetings, they're in there for hours. Now they're yelling and screaming, acting like 2-year-olds. And guess what? Drunken monk like Kaepernick is on the Supreme Court, and this is the person who is in charge of the Constitution. He wants to rewrite things, okay? This is how they do it. They put people in position to do it, and we can't stop the train. The only way the train will stop if you stop fueling it, stop giving it gas. How about that? How about that? Um, the third stage that he mentions, which is Claude Anderson, third stage is shared monopoly. This is the popular term used in business world. The shared monopoly is a composite of conclusive and natural monopoly. It reaches its maximum effectiveness when members of the group work together to control or drive competition out of the market. Hello, and we help them. Duh, they decided their plan, and we helping them. All right, ADOS. I hope y'all been thinking about that. Yep, y'all better get Claude Anderson on y'all team because he up there saying some real stuff only in chapter 1. He's banging, just giving you some stuff to think about. So, going on to just the excerpt from Racial Monopolies. The racial monopolies discussed below are but a few of the nearly invisible structures that marginalize and justify Black America's position as this nation permanent minority losers. Quote, Paul Anderson, not me. Baby, he going in this book. Y'all need to read this. It was $69.99. I'm gonna share the link. I got the 3-pack. 3-pack, like it's like a strategic plan, economics, and then they have a whole pack for $99. They come with a CD. I think it had 5 books. I sent that to my brother. Yes, we can continue to build our nation up no matter where they are. Yes, I do have an unfortunate situation where I have my little girl that's incarcerated, not only because of his crazy behavior, but because of the system. So we do take responsibility. But while he's in there, he's growing. I'm teaching him you never leave your family behind. You always stick together. And, you have to make sure they know wrong is wrong, and you help bring them out of wrong. And if they can't get out of wrong, then you keep it moving. Yeah, because you can't be lowering your vibration, messing up your path, because people want to continue acting stupid. Blood in, blood out. I think I mentioned that. So when he just mentioned a little bit about the Constitution, and I'm going to read a little bit about that, and then we're going to stop, okay? Because he did go a little bit in, and I really respect the fact that he brought up the Constitution, because he has an idea of where the founding fathers was thinking about, and also where we stand, and the realization of our actual political, economical, social, and all that status, all of that. All right. Monopolies established in the Constitution. As indicated earlier, the United States Constitution is not and has never been colorblind. It is a race-specific and color consciousness. For all intent and purposes, the Constitution remained unchanged. The Founding Fathers were the first ones to play the race card. The fact that they were the original card dealers. The allocated rights, resources, and powers to the majority Europeans. And then he said white society. White. When you call them white, they a crayon just like calling us black. They ain't got no status. They ain't called no white nation. See what I'm saying? I'm just keeping it real. I'll be thinking deep. Okay. It says America essentially has 2 constitutions, and that's what I'm going to go to later on in detail when I tell you about the change that happened when they actually turned the republic into a business. This is a business. This ain't no joke. Like, the Constitution established a business. If you're a business owner and you want to come up with a business plan, look at the Constitution first. It's going to tell you how to establish the governance of your business. Facts. Okay? So it's 2 sides of the Constitution, as he said, one for the whites and one for the blacks. Constitutionally, Amendment 1 through 12 are race-specific and empower the majority white society. You see, I only talked about the 13th and 14th Amendment because I pretty much understood that that's what applied to black people, and that's facts. Before that, y'all was enslaved. We was all enslaved. Our ancestors. How about that? Okay. The 13th through the 15th Amendment were also color Pacific. They gave citizenship and empowered rights to the color Pacific. To black ex-slaves. The 13th Amendment the 13th Amendment eliminated legal slavery. The 14th Amendment gave black equal protection and due process. Give you the process. But you gonna get processed, son. You're gonna get processed, but we'll give you a chance to go through, pay a little bit of money to the system, get on probation, pay a little bit more money to the system, go in jail, come back out, pay a little bit of money. You can get processed. Facts. Alright, know about that. So moving on, the 13th Amendment eliminated legal slavery. The 14th Amendment gave black equal protection and due process. The 15th Amendment extended voting and other social rights to blacks. Now, you got to understand, when the South wasn't down for the cause, they were actually not strong in numbers. So when the 15th Amendment came into play, they actually was straight with that. And that 3/4 was kind of wrote different when you look into the 3/4 of the original Constitution where it was stated. They just call them persons and things like that. But the original language, if you go into congressional records, is the original Constitution. And one day I will travel to see that document. Hopefully I can share that with you. Okay? So the 15th Amendment extended voting and other social rights to blacks. Majority society had co-opted these amendments. During Reconstruction in the 1860s, majority social and economic force began to make these amendments colorblind. And this is when we all lost like leeway. 1860s, and I'm gonna say we got people all up in this. Even though they were originally specific to blacks, the term colorblind was not formally used until 1896 when Chief Justice John N. Harlan of Supreme Court issued a dissertation opinion on Preston versus Ferguson decision. Got to look into these court cases. The Supreme Court held that there was nothing wrong with separate but equal accommodations for blacks and whites as a public policy. So they wrote these things as it's okay. It's okay. But I just want to see where they was overturned physically, except for when people throw this 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment stuff in my face. Tell me where these court cases were overturned. I just want to see and show them I'm good with that. Please show me. He was the first to say it. But he was wrong. The Constitution is and always has been color specific, and it remains the same document. All right. So he goes on to talk about James Madison, a major author in the Constitution and a slaveholder, knew he was not including black people when he spoke of how the country will always be divided between those who held property and those who were themselves property. Okay? You have to be not considered property first for you to even consider the own property. So we are property of the United States as 14th Amendment citizens, not only brown melanated, but anyone who's subjected to their jurisdiction that, as I mentioned earlier, are sowing their seeds of energy and fiat money into the destruction of the world. Y'all all playing a part. That's why at the end, when I was gonna upload the rest, some more to the last video that I upload about before they were slaves, and it's basically telling you that all people will have to repent because we all played a part in it, regardless. So that's why the division has to stop regardless. It has to stop regardless. Eventually, like that's just stupid. Like that's how others should be destroyed because we keep dividing and stuff like that. Eventually, that thought pattern has to be destroyed. Okay. Now, according to Claude Anderson, he says Constitution was finally ratified in 1789. However, it used broad, ambiguously, and ineffective public relation type words such as all and everyone rather than directed to the black slaves. Myself, as I stated, I don't feel like these 14th, 15th Amendment was ratified. I have put up a video basically giving you the latest update information on how the state of Georgia feels towards the Constitution, and they're very disrespectful. So I'll put that in the link like I did in the other video, so you can look. You just read it yourself. You can go right on Cornell Law and read their last basically fill-in towards these amendments, and they're not with it. They're not with it. Okay. So I just wanted to go in a little bit and introduce you to PowerNomics, the national plan to empowering Black America. Claude Anderson, ED, fantastic, beautiful person, beautiful person. I also want to just clarify now that I have the chance, state versus federal constitution. Now, I'm going to break this down to y'all how I broke it down to my son, and it's pretty simple. Now, think about a business plan. I'm going to pull up just so I can be able to y'all not going to be able to see what I'm looking at, but I'm going to just make sure I got my stuff together. To make sure I'm sharing everything correctly with y'all and concisely. Because you can't remember everything. You can't remember everything. Alright. So let's just start about the Constitution in itself. Alright, the federal Constitution. Preamble to the Constitution has no force in law. Instead, it established the weight of the Constitution. Why do this document exist? It reflects the desires of the farmers to improve on the government they currently had to be more perfect than the Articles of Confederation, to ensure that the government would be just and would protect its citizens from international strife and from attacks from outside. It would be of the benefit of the people rather than to it determined, and perhaps as importantly, in intent to do the same for the future generations of United States. So, going in, the Constitution has 1, 2, I'm going to think of this, it is, I highlighted it. Articles. I'm going to tell you how many articles that a Constitution have in the Constitution. I have 7 articles, okay? The 7 articles is actually the Articles of Incorporation. So these Articles of Incorporation establish the details of the business. Just like you put a business plan together and you set up your 7 articles or your 7 articles of how you're going to run your business. Check this out. Check this out. I'm about to break it down to you just a little bit. Okay, Article 1. Where we at? Because it's so long. Article 1 got like 9 sections, but we're not going over. Article 1 established the first of the 3 branches of the government: the legislative, the judicial, and also, so the Article 1 established the first of the 3 branches of the government. So Article 1 is just you basically saying, okay, in my business, I have a legislative branch, okay? This established the name of this legislator to be the Congress, okay? And the 2-part body, all right? So the Congress falls under the legislator. And that's when they talk about delegations of power, where we have 3 branches of government that are supposed to delegate the power evenly. So this is how they establish this business, okay? All right, so the first one is to set the legislature. Who's going to put the laws in place for this place? That's Article 1. Article 2 established the second of the 3 branches, which is the executive. This section established the office of the president and the vice president and set their term to be 4 years. Presidents are elected by electoral college, and I have a video about the electoral college. I will share that in the link. How you don't really choose a president and the vice president. The electoral college choose that through your Senate, that you supposedly have the right to be able to choose your state representative. But if you see what happened in Georgia and they cheated that lady, I forgot her name, with all the trickery they had going on, owning the damn ballots, taking people's ballots, throwing them away, unregistering people, all that happened, and this guy still won. This is what I'm telling you. Even if you have a little bit of money, guess who controls the system in it all? All right, this lady was supposed to win, and her representation was supposed to be taken up when it comes to the electoral college and represent what the people want. You have to understand the electoral college, when they get up to that level, when they have to put in their ballots is secret, and then there's no law guaranteed that they have to vote in with the majority. How about that? How about that? So all this talk, okay? Just in Article 2, I'm breaking down how you're voting for president and the talk and all that bullshit means nothing. Because it starts at a lower level. And you have to pay attention to the key details and then get that done and then move up. They got us looking at certain things, a bigger picture, but you're not looking at the minute pixels that put that picture together. That's what Article 2 do in the Constitution. The people who say, I got constitutional rights. This is what Article 2 do. It's the establishment of the government, the federal government. Hello. So Article 2 has about 4 sections. I'm not going into that. Article 4 established the last of the 3 branches of the government, which is the jury, the judge, established the Supreme Court, the highest court in the United States. It also sets the terms of judges in both Supreme and the lower level courts, that they serve as long as they are in good behavior with usual means for life. No justice in any and only a few judges have ever been impeached. Did you hear that? Okay, see, we don't even know about the impeachment process. We don't even know about the good behavior clause that they put in there. And that's why I put a video up in my extra light video. What is the ethical board of commissions for judges? We're going to ask, because some of these behaviors have to be questioned and documented. Even if nothing's happening right now, the continuous precedent of documentation that people, we have to be against them as well and show the strife that's happening through documentation. That's how we were able to learn about what was going on when they were sharecropping and they were keeping slaves and stealing them and things like that. It was letters that was put to the Congress that were able to be dated and showed to us now today of what happened as proof. Where's your proof? Okay, so I talked about Article 3 in the Constitution, establishing your business. That's the American business. You got to have some popo. You got to have some people to enforce the law. That's the Article 3. Article 4 is concerning with the state. And basically, it mentions that all states will honor the laws of all other states that ensure, for the example, the couple married in Florida is also considered married in Arizona. But you have to understand there's still laws that's not adjacent to other laws. What happens is that you have different circuit courts that has cases that happen. So if you have a case in Florida where someone is found not guilty, you may probably be able to use that in your court case in another state. But if they have consecutive court cases within their state that shows precedent of one type of verdict, they're going to most likely go with that verdict until you take it up to the next Supreme Court level, where you'll be able to examine critically everything that you have put in as evidence first, because you got to know to put it in on a lower level, because once you get to the higher level, you can't put nothing in. You can't put no new paperwork in. See, that's the stuff that we need to know about law. Y'all don't know about that. Y'all just be talking. That's why you just take your time. Just take your time. Okay? Alright. So that's Article 4. You know, just putting the conformity on the states. Like, hey, y'all gonna get right, because this is what the feds say. Go into Article 4. They got 4 sections for you to read. Article 5 established the method of amending and changing the Constitution. Please see amend page for more information. There's a process to amend the Constitution. It's a process to get someone impeached, and the process to amend these amendments, that the 14th and 15th Amendment was not met to my knowledge. And if it has been met, please show me the proof so I can stop talking about that. Okay? So if y'all want to know what the amendment process and if it was actually met, you go to Article 5 of the Constitution, the establishment of this government, this business, and it would explain to you what they needed to do, and you see if they did it in regards to the 14th and 15th Amendment. Okay? Article 6 concerned with the United States itself. First, it guarantees the United States under the Constitution will assume all debts and contracts entered into the United States under the Article of Confederation. It sets the Constitution as all law and territories of the United States to be the supreme law of the country. Okay? Federal law is supposed to be Supreme Court of the country. Finally, it requires all officers of the United States of the states to swear an oath of allegiance to the United States of the Constitution who takes office. That regards to the federal constitution. But when you get into each state constitution, each state constitution, you got their own shit going on. And I'm going to explain to you is a vast similarity and difference when it comes to the Constitution for federal constitution and state constitution. But we're talking about federal constitution right now, okay? And the Articles of Confederation, and there's 7, and you really need to read that. So don't say I got constitutional rights and you haven't read what the shit is. It's 1 to 7 Articles of Confederation where they put this business together. They put the law, the legislature, the executive, the Supreme Court, who's going to write the laws, who's going to execute it, and who's going to be the motherfucking CEO of the company. Do you understand what's going on? Are y'all ready? Okay? And as I stated to you, Article 6, this enhanced what I've been telling you. whoever played plea or pledge allegiance to the United States of America is in assume all debts and contract into by the United States. So whatever they have done and sold into this world and this planet, you are indirectly responsible. You, me, and everyone else. So when you go meet the Most High, you're gonna say what he gonna say. What did you do? The Most High gonna ask you. I don't care what you believe in. You believe in something. You know you're gonna have to face judgment. Your consciousness tells you this every day. Every day. All right, last part of that is Article 7. Details the method of ratification or acceptance of Constitution or the original 13 states in the United States. 9 had to accept the Constitution before it would officially go into effect. Okay? Here we go. So we talked about Article 5 to figure out how amendment will be constructed. In Article 7, we'll talk about ratification and add on addition and acceptance to the Constitution. That ratification never happened. The ratification never happened to me. So prove me wrong, y'all. I know we got a lot of scholars and leaders out there. We growing. So we need to be factual on point when we stand our ground. Now, let's go into the amendments. The Constitution and the amendments. It's all part of the same article, same document, but it's different parts. So when you say you don't say you got Constitution rights, you got amendment rights. You got amendment rights that was amended in this Constitution. And that's the first 10 amendments to the Constitution was adopted at the same time as are collectively known as the Bill of Rights. Okay? So it's basically the same thing. I mean, well, you know what I'm saying. It was constructed at the same time. You know, with Amendment 1, protection for people to practice religion, speak freely. 2, 3, 4, I'm not going over this with you guys. I know y'all very intelligent to go over y'all amendment, go over the amendments that's in the Constitution, baby. Y'all should be able to do this. And the ones that I feel apply to us is only 13 to 15. And y'all need to realize, baby, may be a problem. Okay? Thank you, YouTube, for not blurring that information out. I'll be moving on to the next document. It's going to be starting to, finish off this live. I'm going to go into the state constitution. Now, each state has their own constitution, and I had to learn that moving from Jersey to Georgia, and my constitutional right, I was confused too. But then you got the state because you're under their jurisdiction, having a domicile within the state. And that's why I explained to you, certain practices that happen in the state is not accepted on the federal level. That's why you have civil rights that's created supposedly by the amendments to the Constitution of the federal Constitution, okay? And the state constitution deal with more of the construction of the state business, because when you go into court, you go into any court, you look right after that big old mallet or mask or whatever they call that's behind the judge or on the wall. You're going to see established in some year, some time, and it's probably in the 1800s. That, okay? That means that business, that township, which is a business, was established there, okay? And you're a part of the surety of that business. If you were birthed there and then moved there and did business, no matter what, they're sucking some type of equity out of you. Facts. Look this up yourself. Okay? How about that? Thank you, the creators of YouTube, letting me get this out. Don't blur my information. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. I hope y'all enjoying my live too. Let's move on. Let's go into the state constitution, and we're going to finish up this live. So y'all can put part 1 and part 2 together and start thinking. Leave y'all comments. Let me know what else y'all want me to talk about, because y'all know I'm going to come back with something. But I'm going to have to have more time, based on my situation. When I'm free and I'm able to cultivate this. But when I'm not and I'm in modern day slavery with you guys, and I can love what I do, but it's really hard on my soul, I'm able to produce those videos with you. That's as much as I can do. So when you see a slew of those videos, just go in there, watch them, share them, learn, use your commentary, build up the next person with you, around you, and then you'll catch me on my lives when I'm available. And then, when the creator makes it be more available to be doing more commentary to support of you guys through outer sources, as I mentioned to you guys, YouTube will not let me monetize. I respect it. The stuff that I'm putting out there is going to make you think. They don't want you to think, baby. Baby, I'm gonna make you think today. Alright, so finishing off with state constitution. State constitution is the supreme law of the state. State constitution establishes certain origins of the government of the state. Vast these origins with their powers and deny certain powers. Like the federal constitution, the written constitution of the state do not comprise of the entire constitution or federal fundamental laws. In addition to the constitution, each state rests upon legislative enactment, executive decree, judicial ruling, customs, and habits. Often, the constitution of the state differs from that of another in various aspects. However, in their principal elements, state constitutions are all similar to one another to a certain extent. Excuse me, I'm going in and drink some water. Now I understand what the people going through. They begin dry. I love you too, guys. Thank you for dealing with me. I love when the creator put me in this form so I could be able to share this beautiful commentary and this knowledge with you guys. Y'all can like gossip, y'all can like, but y'all gonna have to catch this brick, and I'm gonna have to make a hit dog holler. How about that? Old school. I got the ancestors in me too. All right, let me drink some more water and stop talking about it. All right, so let's finish this up. The general nature of the state constitution is power is as following. One, the powers of state government. The general nature of the constitution, the state constitution, is based upon the type of powers that the state government poses and exercises according to the 10th Amendment of the federal constitution. The powers not delegated to the United States by the constitution nor prohibited by it to the state are reserved to the state representatively or to the people. So this is where you have states making laws, and they have the right to make these laws because the Constitution is very general. The amendments to the Constitution is very general. So they make their own legislative laws within their body of government, and this is where they say are reserved to the state representatively or the people. And that's where the people have to stand up to show the discrepancy and file grievances with the practices that's taking place within the state domicile. But guess what? The state is treating you how it wants to, because guess what? It don't give a damn about citizenship, about you being free. Down here, you gonna be a slave, and we gonna act like you not, but you gonna be treated a little different. You're gonna be treated a little different. All right. 2, the length of the Constitution. We ain't gonna talk about that. The consistency of the Constitution. The state Constitution resemble each other in general outlines. The content of most of the state Constitution can be summarized as the following. Preamble. The state Constitution usually opens with a preamble, which is a brief foreword setting forth the presumption reason for which the Constitution was drafted and adopted. Basically, it's saying we here to set forth some laws on y'all asses. Okay? Next part should have protections and rights. Every state constitution possesses a Bill of Rights or Declaration of Rights. That's where you get your rights from, people. So you have to look at the Declaration or the Bill of Rights of the state to know what you have to follow with your state. Also, you have to understand, because the status that you gain, when you go in front of that judge, he may not treat you right. And you know we've been experienced that a lot, and this is why it's happening. I'm just keeping it real. The next thing, talk about scruffage and electronics. The state constitution has considerable portions dealing with scruffage and electronics. They specific the various qualifications for the electoral process and rates. So it talks about they set the dates in particular election, establish the local administrative machinery for the ballot. And that's what I told you, within the Constitution, this is why Stacey Adams was trying to sue the current governor of Georgia, because he was violating certain guidelines written within the Bill of Rights of the Georgia Constitution. Okay, I mean, well, exactly, it's written inside the Georgia Constitution. I do, as you understand what I'm saying. And also it goes into the origins of the government. The state constitution provides for the origins of the state government, such as legislature, the office of the government, attorney general, secretary of state. Okay, these are the people, secretary of state, those people are the people who cast our votes for us. The jury. The Constitution may contain other provisions endowing the origins with some of their powers. It also contains information about the local government. State constitution includes considerable portions devoted to establishing and regulation of the various type of local government. So that's where you go and figure out if they cheating. You go into this constitution like, yo, you're not acting right. You gotta ask questions, and when you read and you utilize this against them, and you put them in grievances, in court cases against them, it's put on paper. It's set precedent. They have set precedents against you, against people, against us, and we have to do it the other way, through this way as well. That's part of my plan too. You gotta understand. You gotta understand. You gotta be thinking. Also, it sets taxation and debt. If you really, and that's why I have a video talking about should homes be taxed and things like that. You guys check out that video. It's on Extraordinary Light 34. Taxations and debt. The state constitution sets forth the power of the state government to levy taxes and to incur debts. Okay? Nowhere did I mention to you in the Constitution where it started to, well, I didn't go details in the amendment, but to talk about taxation on the people. That is a state thing. We ain't gonna go into that because I'm not an expert, but I definitely know that that's the state law, not a federal law. How about that? Did you ever know that? Something to think about. Yeah, okay, so I'm almost done with this document. It goes into the power of the government. The large part of the state constitution is devoted to enormously of the general powers of the state government. So you have to see what powers they have. They define their powers, and the powers that's not defined by the federal government is defined by the state. You are wards of the state when you become a president, or in you're a 14th Amendment citizen, regardless. When you come to the state and you are registered, your birth certificate within the state, they are the first person that holds that entity that's created to represent you. We'll talk about that on later lives. Yo, I just got a whole bunch to share with y'all so I can connect the math for you people. We're about to connect the math. Alright, so it also talks about amendment and reservations. So with that, they talk about how you can make amendments on the protocols of the legislative, popular incentive, and constitutional conservation. Moreover, there is formal means of constitution commission that is not specifically authorized by the state constitution but accepted by the courts. Okay, so there's commissions that is not specifically authorized by a state constitution but accepted by the courts. So they're using these private entities to determine cases and regulations as well. And that's when you go into, I forgot that organization. I'm going to talk about that when I mention the name. When they say it's like a privately owned organization, and basically they are structuring our government and structuring the way our laws are written, and these are Exxon owners and things like that that own these big corporations. Okay, so I went in. I hope that y'all got a good understanding. I shared with y'all like 3 hours of my life, so I can execute to y'all the severity of the situation. Also introduce to you, y'all know Claude Anderson, PowerNomics. I will be reading this book, finishing. I'll be also going through the rest of his books of the Power Pack, and I'll be sharing with you excerpts from there. I will put his website at the bottom for you guys, because mentally you have to be ready to accept prosperity. You can't accept prosperity if you don't know what the fuck to do with it, or know what's going on around you, or the obstacles around you. And then that's when I'm going to go into another video of separation. Separation sounds very harsh, but I'm going to explain to you how the process is pretty easy and it's very uplifting to the soul. You feel so good when you separated from the matrix. You separated when you're living in your own, where you're able to cultivate your family, have that relationship with your kids. We going to grow, baby. We going to grow. We going to grow together. All right, so I'm gonna finish off this broadcast with sharing with you a 4-minute excerpt from my self-owned business. I'm an agent. I'm a gold agent. So what I do is teach people about gold, and I teach people about basically, as I explained and maybe been muffled in my other video, how the Federal Reserve notes was separated from gold, and that's when the gold standard took place. I will share a video about that. I do have some in my extra light video as well that I can share under in the description for you to get an understanding of what happened when they separated the Federal Reserve notes from gold. This 4-minute video, this gentleman, I have uploaded the information. This is a YouTube video of mine, so you can look and see who the person doing the commentary, and you can go research this yourself. And after that, we'll go and talk about what I do a little bit more and how I prepare people just to be financially ready, just in case the dollar wants to collapse. Okay, you gotta have something to fall back on, and there's nothing like tangibles. You want tangibles? You want tangibles? Get the damn gold. Get the gold. Gotta get the gold. All right, I'm about to stop this music, and I'm gonna allow y'all to watch the 4-minute excerpt. This is my commercial because I have to teach y'all about um how to support this channel as well as how to support yourself. So the ones that's interested, I'll share the link below, www.secureyourenergy.org. You'll be able to see this video and also other videos that I have shared in regards to economics. Let's rock.
Hi, everybody. Stefan Molyneux from Freedom Main Radio. Yes, it's time to talk about Nazi gold. What am I, working for the History Channel? Not really. So this is not Nazi gold. I don't know, maybe some of it is. It's gold. And the fascinating story of attempting to get back something that somebody's been holding in safekeeping for you, which you're not allowed to see. So a very, very brief history. So gold is gold and silver, the bimetallic standard, has been what humanity, prior to technology, like modern technology, it's what humanity gravitates toward in the absence of governments taking control of the currency. Gold is relatively stable in value, like a really nice suit cost an ounce of gold 150 years ago. It costs about an ounce of gold now, and if you price things relative to gold, it's pretty stable in value. It tends to use a little bit more gold mined every year, but the economy grows every year a couple of percentage points, so it's a pretty stable way of organizing finances. I mean, there are cryptocurrencies and other things that have come along since, but traditionally, historically, it's been gold. Now, governments hate gold because they can't just snap their fingers and make more of it. They can print off treasury bills, they can print off money, they can type whatever they want into their own bank account if they control the currency, and if said currency is not linked to gold, which is why governments have always fought to get beyond the gold standard and portrayed everyone who likes the gold standard as, well, mad, some sort of bond.
I'm sorry, y'all. I was adding this to y'all.
And currency used to be backed by gold, right? So it was risky sometimes to take gold around, so you take a paper note from one bank to another, signed to you, it's like a check. And paper currency was originally only supposed to represent gold, and then they decoupled, the American government decoupled in a variety of measures, decoupled the dollar from gold, and now they can print whatever they want, and this is how you get deficits and wars and all late empire stuff. This, of course, supposed to be at Fort Knox. It's supposed to have 3% of all the gold ever mined by mankind. But nobody's seen the gold at Fort Knox for a very long time. The last, and I'm going to put this in loose air quotes, the last audit and the last public visit was in 1953. Yes, that's correct. Just after U.S. President Dwight Eisenhower took office. No outside experts were allowed during that audit, and the audit team tested only about 5% of the gold there. So there really hasn't been a kind of comprehensive audit or even any audit of Fort Knox in over 60 years. Now, there are estimates that take 400 people 6 months to fully test the gold at Fort Knox, cost about $15 million. But really, who has an incentive to do it? The overseas governments don't really want to find out if their gold is gone. because they then have to not have it as an asset on their ledgers, and it would cause a lot of problems. Of course, if the gold is there, there'd be no reason not to let people see it. If the gold is gone, or somewhat gone, or whatever, then nobody on the American side wants to have that happen. So, in 1974, with regards to Fort Knox, 6 congressmen, 1 senator, and some press agents were allowed to enter the Fort Knox to see for themselves if the gold was there or not. The tour showed that there was gold in Fort Knox, but at the same time it did spark more controversy. So only a tiny fraction of the gold reserves were made available for viewing, and
where's the people go?
so according to the German Central Bank's own data, 1,447 tons of gold are stored at the Federal Reserve Bank in New York, 438 tons at the Bank of England in London, and 307 tons at the Banque de France in Paris.
All right, guys, where's your gold at? All right, guys, so basically, that's a little short excerpt for you guys to start thinking about what's gold, what's economics. This should spark something in your mind to be prepared, building wealth, safe, and gold. Okay? All right, so that's my commercial. And let me get this bigger so y'all can go to K-Bars. Y'all can go here. Y'all can either go directly and sign up, or y'all can specifically go to the website that I mentioned, and y'all be able to sign up there and see all the videos and everything. So if y'all go into the link that was just shown in the video, that's just going to get y'all directly to become an agent or to purchase gold. But if y'all want to learn about it, I advise y'all to go on to www.secureyourenergy.org, and that's where you'll learn more about gold. You don't have to sign up. You just can learn. That's my goal. And I want to share with you one more video, okay, before I close out. This is what's going on, the citizenship shift of leaving Dominica and what's happening to the Haitians there that was basically forced migrated over there by certain factors. Is not only economical, but dealt with what happened with the storms and the money that was taken from the people, never helped them. These people mass migrated because of the destruction of the land and a whole bunch of other stuff. And that, you know, we go down a yellow brick road with weather modification, but I ain't gonna go in detail. So this is where it can lead to for people who have no citizenship, or no matter of fact, not citizenship, nationality. So these people here has citizenship and been born in Dominica, but see what they're going through, okay? And they've been born in Dominica. The ancestors of people who migrate there. So this should show you what may and can happen out here in America. Let's rock.
Another border story playing out in our hemisphere on the Caribbean island of Hispaniola. The Dominican Republic and Haiti sit side by side, yet have a complex and fraught history. During the 20th century, hundreds of thousands of Haitians crossed into the wealthier Dominican Republic to escape poverty and political instability, only to face color-based racism and, at times, violent repression. Recently, in what international human rights organizations took to be a swipe at those with Haitian roots, the Dominican government made headlines when it ended birthright citizenship for children born in the Dominican Republic to undocumented parents. NewsHour Weekend's Yvette Feliciano has more as part of our ongoing series on Haiti.
January in the Dominican Republic city of Jimani, near the main border crossing into Haiti. Earlier in the day, 34-year-old Jesus L'Homme Exilaire says he was detained. Exilaire, a Baptist pastor, says he was unjustly held by Dominican immigration authorities for 6 hours.
They come and ask me, "Hey you, black guy, where are your documents?" I took them out and they said, "Get on the truck." And while we drove, I asked, "What is the problem here? I have my documents." And they said they had to verify.
Exilaire was born in the Dominican Republic to Haitian migrants, and he is a legal resident here. But he is not a Dominican citizen, and he cannot vote. That's because, according to the Dominican government, his Haitian heritage makes Exilaire a foreigner in the country of his birth.
Bueno, tú estás ilegal.
They call you illegal. They say you are not from here, you are Haitian. Go to your country. Most of us don't even know Haiti. We don't know anyone there.
It used to be that, with few
let's
exceptions,
just
being born in the DR made you a citizen.
I
but
have to pause
constitutional
that.
and legal.
Let's just pause that. I hear a vast majority of American descendants of slaves saying, we don't know that land. I don't know what you're talking about. And that's how these people sound. I just want to make the vast comparison. Check it out.
Revisions that took full effect in 2014 changed all that. Under the new law, many Dominicans born to undocumented parents between 1929 and 2007 would lose their citizenship. So would their children, their children's children, and on and on. The Dominican government has no estimate of the total number of people affected, but human rights groups estimate hundreds of thousands suddenly lost their citizenship. They were no longer eligible to vote, enroll in higher education, or legally work in the country.
Yo no soy de Haití.
I'm from the Dominican Republic. I am not from Haiti. And they say, no, you are here, but you are Haitian.
Dominican lawmakers said changes to nationality laws were aimed at tackling decades of illegal migration from Haiti. That's not the opinion of the Inter-American Commission on Human Rights, a watchdog arm of the Organization of American States. It claims the new laws are part of a legacy of racial discrimination, xenophobia, and anti-Haitianism in Dominican society.
If I'm walking, since I have black skin, they ask for my passport.
Jimena Reyes, who is Dominican of Haitian heritage, is a human rights worker.
There are Dominicans with black skin, and there are Haitians with white skin. I don't understand why they don't hold everyone to the same standard. Many Dominicans walk around without their documents, and if you have no documents on you, how do you prove your nationality?
Reyes says there.
All right, guys. So when I upload the original video from my first live, it's going to have this information and the other information. So if you're interested in learning more about what's going on in Haiti right now and making the vast comparison to what can happen here, especially with the legislative changes when they're talking about the 2020 census and adding the question of immigration. That's going to be another video that I make for you guys, okay? The 2020 elections census, and the fact that they're trying to change things illegally to ask about immigration and nationality, and if you're a citizen. Basically, once you ask if you're a citizen, you're asking about nationality, and that's facts. So, as I stated to you guys, I'm not going to go in. I have been going in. It's about as long as my last live, but I think I have executed a lot of the information that I have been striving to get out to you guys. It's been in my heart. I've been learning a lot about this, and I can continue to share information with you guys. If you like and you're learning, please like, learn, and subscribe this and share. This is a learning channel / blog. You see that I'm going to add things because I'm within the culture. I'm within the mix. Rest in peace to Nipsey Hussle. Throw Cardi B in the trash because she don't act right. Yeah, I'm all in it to win it. We could go from law to the nonsense to the real sense to the economic walking dictionary. I love to learn, and I ask all the people who love to learn with me and like to look at the whole point of view, 365 degree, and not be biased. And remember that the canvas that has been basically you've been birthed with, that blank canvas. If you look at my first video on Uncensored, it explains to you how they have basically put a whole bunch of destructive and malbehaviors, patterns, thinking, ways of communicating on our canvas, and we're executing it not only towards our friends, family, and the culture, we're executing it on ourselves and being self-destructive. Love and light. Thank you for tuning in. Share, share, share. I want these messages to get to the ADOS. Everybody in the ADOS, listen to this video. You feel some type of way, it's cool. Leave your commentary, but make sure that you're coming from facts, because when I come, I'm coming 360, baby. So you better make sure you're thinking economically, politically, socially, and everything when you're addressing the question towards me. And that's facts. And if I don't know it, I will go research it and learn it. Get into the group. And on Facebook, I'll leave that description below if it's not there. Research or Die. I have a good group of leaders there. We have mentorships going on within that group. It's a private secret group. You only can get if I put the link there, or if you want to inbox me at extraordinarylight34@gmail.com. I will look you up on Facebook and add you to the group. It's a lot of learning and growing, positivity. We are researching everything. We talk about everything at the end of the day. So many blessings. We're always looking for additions to the family, leaders, innovators, people who drama free and about that life. Because we're about that business. Like I'm telling you, I be feeling like I'm the guy from the book of Eli. I'll be ready, y'all. I'll be ready with that Bible. I'll be ready with my sword. And I'll be ready to chop somebody's head off. Well, whap pow. I love you guys. I love you guys, and many blessings. Let's go out with a little bit of feng shui music. You know, I love that feng shui music. Don't forget, go to www.secureyourenergy.org and learn about gold, learn about the Federal Reserve notes, and how possibly it connects to your political status. I will add more to the Secure Your Energy YouTube page, but the website is pretty focused on business. But when I want to get into that politics, you'll be looking at my other YouTube page that I'll share in the description. All right, yo, everybody, get high, meaning get high, get connected to the most high, and do what you're supposed to do. I'm gonna roll out with me tonight. Y'all from all the descendants of slaves, the descendants of slaves, American descendants of slaves. This is where we from, baby. Go do your research. Love and life. Many blessings.